So I haven't written down anything really. I do have a few notes here that I was given this morning about some of the things that Wilson has done over his lifetime. But just let me speak to you about what Wilson has meant to me and my family and my lifetime. And I would ask you if I get emotional, then that's just the way it is, because that's the way I felt about Wilson. 32 years ago, approximately, my wife and I, Susan, one daughter at the time, moved over to Allen County. We started church, Scottsville Church of Christ in Allen County. Wilson and his family were very much a part of that church at that time. Wilson's dad was still living, but died shortly thereafter, after we moved there, not too long. I'd figured out that Wilson had been an associate professor at Western for a year or two while I was a student there, and I remembered him. And I realized that he had ambitions to go on and be a professor, but his dad had a heart attack, and he decided to come home and run the family farm. He had already lost a brother that died in a car accident as a teenager. So Wilson had already lost his younger brother, so he was the only child left in the family. The more I got to know Wilson, the more I realized how much he was dedicated to his community. Just as the gentleman said, Allen County. He served the school system for 24 years as a school board member. He served on the state school board committee as the president, I think vice president and president. He served in lots of different capacities. He served on the tobacco board. He served on the Rotary committee after he left this body and was already gravely sick with cancer, which ultimately took his life. He served until he couldn't serve any longer as the Rotary president. Wilson served in the Chamber of Commerce. He served the Allen County Extension Board. Wilson and I had the opportunity to serve on a lot of these boards together, not all of them, but a number of them. And we served as either chairman or vice chairman. And so when I ran against Wilson and I ran for an open seat 14 years ago. And when Wilson won, then I took over the chairmanship of some of these committees because I got to follow in his footsteps. I was again honored to follow in his footsteps when he caught me at church one night going down the hall out of the building after services and said, "Shawn, let me talk to you a minute." And told me that he wasn't going to run anymore and that if he knew I desired the office. So I'm very honored to serve as in his footsteps in this 22nd district. Wilson was wholeheartedly a Democrat. I'm wholeheartedly a Republican. But what I would like to tell you most of all that I'm so honored to serve with Wilson in is we served as a deacon and then elders at the Scottsville Church of Christ. I watched Wilson lose his daughter at 16 years old, Elizabeth, and saw a man of faith that never wavered, just kept on going. I saw Wilson suffer through grave illness with his suffering of cancer, and I saw a man of great faith that never wavered. Out of all the things that, when you serve with somebody in church leadership, you serve behind closed doors and you make decisions that help pastor a congregation. Wilson and I always agreed that whatever was best for the congregation, whatever was best for each person, whatever was best for their life was what we agreed on. Even though we had our differences in some ways, we never had our differences in those matters. I am honored today to get to speak and to honor Wilson Stone as a man that loved his community, loved his family, but most of all loved his God, loved his church. I am sure he is with his daughter Elizabeth in heaven, and I hope to follow him one day and see him again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.